Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to look into the world of AI in the water sector. We'll be kind of walking through, presentations and discussions from a recent event at Google Netherlands. Really, I think this deep dive is perfect for anyone who's interested in practical applications of AI in this sector and what the future holds.
Yeah, it's really an exciting time for AI and water management.
Absolutely. And we have a lot to unpack. Real-world examples, research directions, case studies. We'll be looking at companies like Somotics, AQA.Earth, Waven, Hulo, and Vitens.
A lot of great companies doing some really innovative work in the field.
Yeah, it really seems like it. So the event kicked off with Ronald Wallinga. He's the manager of entrepreneurship at Water Campus, and he's also the director of operations at Water Alliance. He really emphasized how important innovation is in the water sector, and he talked a lot about the role of startups and scale-ups and SMEs.
And that message about fostering innovation is one we hear a lot. It's really crucial for the future of water management.
Absolutely, and Water Campus is a big part of that. They provide a lot of resources and support, creating a vibrant ecosystem for these water technology companies.
Yeah, they act as kind of an incubator and accelerator for these companies. And Google Cloud is playing a role in this too through their startup program.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So the Google Cloud Startup Program, they offer different levels of support based on what stage the startup is in. It could be, financial assistance with those cloud credits, or maybe technical guidance, even access to a network of mentors and investors.
It sounds like a pretty comprehensive program.
It is, and they even have a tier specifically for AI for startups. They can get up to $350,000 in cloud credits over 2 years.
Wow, that's a significant investment in AI-driven solutions for the water sector.
It really is.
So let's move on to some practical examples of AI in action. Let's start with Somotics. They were talking about predictive maintenance in water infrastructure.
Yeah, they use something called electrical signature analysis.
Okay, so what is that exactly?
Well, basically, they're analyzing the electrical signals of pumps and looking for anomalies, anything that could indicate a, potential failure.
So it's about preventing problems before they happen.
Exactly. Preventative maintenance. Reduce the risk of those costly breakdowns and downtime.
I imagine that saves a lot of money in the long run.
It does, and they had a compelling case study. They helped a client increase overall electrical efficiency by 7.1%.
That's impressive.
It is. And it's not just about preventing breakdowns. It's also about optimizing performance.
So AI is contributing to both sustainability and operational efficiency.
Right.
So moving on, we heard from AQA.Earth. They're using AI to monitor soil and water quality in agriculture.
Yeah, their approach is quite unique. They combine physical sensors with citizen science data.
Citizen science data, what do you mean by that?
Photos, actually.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they use photos to supplement the readings they're getting from the sensors, and then they use AI to analyze all this data and provide farmers with real-time insights.
So they have this sustainable farming dashboard, right?
Right.
And that gives farmers a more complete picture of what's happening on their farms.
Yeah, and it allows them to, make more informed decisions about things like irrigation and fertilizer use.
Practices that can have a big impact on yields and the environment.
Absolutely. And they use blockchain technology, too.
Blockchain, how does that fit in?
It ensures the immutability of the data, adds a layer of, trust and transparency to their monitoring system.
Okay, so it's about ensuring the integrity of the data and, building trust with those farmers.
Exactly.
All right. Waven, they presented their work on closing the urban water cycle.
Yeah, they're a global leader in water infrastructure solutions, and they're using AI for leak detection in water distribution networks.
Leak detection, I mean, that's a huge issue for water utilities.
It is, and their water network management service, it provides real-time data to help utilities identify and address leaks quickly. They had a case study where they detected a leak that had been active for 20.6 weeks.
Wow. Think of all the water that was wasted.
A significant amount. And they showcase some of their, innovative infrastructure solutions as well. Things like the polder roof system.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
That's designed to capture rainwater.
Up to 90% of rainwater, right?
Yeah, which can then be reused for various purposes.
So it reduces our reliance on, traditional water sources.
Right. And then they also talked about their tree tank system, which is all about supporting urban greenery.
The tree tank, yeah. So it seems like AI could play a role in managing these systems as well, optimizing the polder roof, for example. or maybe even managing the water and nutrient delivery for the tree tank system.
It's definitely a possibility. AI has the potential to really, enhance these nature-based solutions.
Let's turn our attention to the future of AI in the water sector. Duckle Yintema, he's scientific program manager at Wetsus, which is a leading European water technology research institute.
Yeah,
He
Wax.
gave a really interesting presentation.
He talked about the evolution of AI, moving away from those, broad promises to a more focused, application-driven approach.
So less hype, more practicality,
Exactly, and he emphasized the importance of water monitoring and data-driven decision-making.
which is becoming more and more important as water scarcity and pollution become bigger issues.
Right. And he also brought up some thought-provoking questions about the societal implications of AI, things like misinformation and potential biases.
Those are important considerations as AI becomes more integrated into, all aspects of our lives.
Absolutely.
So Wetsus is involved in a lot of different research projects, many of them using AI.
Yeah.
You talk about some of their key initiatives.
Sure, they're looking at things like anomaly detection in water distribution. They're also working on optimal sensor placement and real-time monitoring of water quality.
They're using all sorts of different sensor technologies, right, including some that leverage genomics to assess water health.
Yeah, that's a really exciting area of research. It's like having nature's own sensors providing feedback on water quality.
It sounds like it has the potential to, revolutionize how we monitor and manage water resources.
It really does.
All right, so let's move on to some specific case studies. Let's start with ULO. They provide AI-powered real-time network monitoring software for water utilities.
Yeah, their software analyzes data from flow and pressure sensors to detect leaks.
So it's about finding those leaks and, giving utilities the information they need to fix them quickly.
Exactly. And they really emphasize the importance of transparency and trust in AI.
Which is crucial, especially when you're dealing with, critical infrastructure.
Right. It's not enough to just have accurate AI. You need to be able to understand how it works.
So HELO is focusing on explainable AI.
Exactly. And they're having a lot of success. They've helped utilities in the Netherlands, Middle East, Latin America.
Wow, so they're really making a global impact.
They are.
Okay, finally, let's talk about Vitens, the largest drinking water company in the Netherlands. They have a unique challenge when it comes to forecasting water demand.
Yeah, it's a really complex problem. You've got weather patterns, seasonal changes, events happening in a particular area. All of these things can impact water demand.
And traditional forecasting models often struggle to keep up with that.
They do, but Vitens is exploring some innovative approaches.
Like what?
Well, they're looking at integrating data sources from Google, things like traffic patterns and mobility data.
Oh, that's interesting.
The idea is that by understanding how people move and behave, they can get a better idea of, how much water is going to be used.
So it's about connecting human activity to water consumption.
Exactly. And they're also, exploring AI for other things like optimizing infrastructure, proactive maintenance, being able to respond dynamically to those fluctuating water demands.
So they're really embracing AI as a tool for a more sustainable and resilient water future.
They are. It's really fascinating to see how diverse these companies are tackling, all these different aspects of the water sector with AI.
Yeah, it really seems like there's so much potential for disruption and innovation in this sector, and AI is at the heart of it.
Definitely. And one of the recurring themes we saw was the importance of data.
Right. I mean, you can't have artificial intelligence without, information to process and learn from.
It's the foundation of everything we're talking about here, AI in water management.
Take semantics, for example. I mean, their whole approach, that ESA relies on those electrical signals to detect those anomalies in pumps.
And AQA.Earth, they're incorporating citizen science data, using photographs to basically get more data points.
Yeah, alongside their physical sensor readings. I imagine as sensor technology gets better and better, and as we collect more and more data, the potential for AI to optimize these water systems is only going to grow.
Precisely. And this is where some of the research that Wetsus is doing becomes really important, that optimal sensor placement.
Right, because it's not just about having sensors, it's about having them in the right places so we're collecting the most valuable data.
We're laying the groundwork for smarter water infrastructure.
Speaking of smarter infrastructure, I was really impressed by those wave-in systems, the boulder roof and the tree tank.
Yeah, those are great examples of, moving beyond managing existing infrastructure to designing new infrastructure with AI in mind from the start.
The polder roof, imagine if that could be optimized with AI so that it could adjust water retention based on real-time weather patterns.
Right, a more dynamic system.
Exactly. And then the tree tank system, AI could be used to personalize the water and a nutrient delivery for each tree.
Ensuring optimal growth.
Yeah, it's moving beyond, just monitoring to actually like, active control and personalization.
Absolutely, and all of these advancements are happening at a really crucial time. I mean, think about those challenges that Vines was talking about with water demand forecasting.
Right. I mean, as climate change brings more and more of those extreme weather events, being able to accurately predict water demand is becoming um, even more challenging.
Those traditional patterns, they're just not as reliable anymore.
Exactly. And this is where AI can help bridge the gap, right?
Exactly.
Like incorporating those unconventional data sources like, the Google traffic patterns. It gives Vitens a much deeper understanding of how, events and behavior impact water demand.
It's like connecting the dots between human activity and water consumption in a way that we just couldn't before.
And that insight allows Vitens to make more informed decisions about, infrastructure planning and water allocation.
We're moving towards a future where water management is not only more efficient, but also more personalized and resilient.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and uh, talk about Hilo and their work on leak detection.
They made a really good point about why trust in AI is so important.
Right. If utilities are going to rely on AI to make these critical decisions about their infrastructure, they need to have confidence in those decisions.
It's not enough to just have accurate AI systems. They need to be understandable.
That's why, Hilo's focus on that transparency and explainable AI is so important.
It's all about building trust.
Yeah. And setting a good example for the industry.
Transparency and accountability are essential, especially in a sector as vital as water management.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about ensuring access to safe drinking water. We're talking about protecting ecosystems.
And building a more sustainable future.
Right. So this brings us to Wetsus's work on genomics-based water quality monitoring.
It's really cutting edge stuff.
It's amazing. They're essentially using the genetic responses of microorganisms to assess the health of water.
So imagine you're trying to monitor a river for pollution. Traditionally, you'd take water samples and analyze them chemically.
But with genomics-based monitoring, you're doing what?
You're analyzing the genes of the microorganisms in that water.
And how does that tell you if the water is polluted?
Well, certain genes are expressed differently when those microorganisms are exposed to pollutants.
So by analyzing those gene expression patterns, scientists can identify, the presence of specific pollutants. They can determine the level of contamination.
Basically, it's a much more sensitive and nuanced approach than those traditional methods.
It's like reading the DNA of the water to understand its health.
It's a powerful analogy.
It is, and this technology has the potential to, completely revolutionize how we monitor and manage water resources.
It really does. The research that Wetsus is doing in this area is it's really groundbreaking.
This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening. I mean, we've seen some truly remarkable potential for AI to transform this whole sector.
From predictive maintenance and leak detection to these innovative infrastructure designs and that genomics-based monitoring, the applications are just so diverse and impactful.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to pose a challenge to our listeners. We've talked about AI optimizing existing water systems, but what if we actually designed entirely new systems with AI in mind from the very beginning?
That's a really compelling thought. How would AI influence the design? What would these systems actually look like?
And how would they change how we think about water and how we interact with it?
A lot of really interesting questions to consider. It really is a fascinating thought, designing those water systems from the ground up with AI in mind.
It's like we're almost like in the realm of science fiction at that point.
Maybe, but, we are already gathering so much data. I mean, weather patterns, population density, industrial usage, even individual household consumption, all of that's being tracked.
And AI could use all that data to create these water systems that are much more dynamic and responsive to what's happening.
Yeah, imagine a network of, like, smart pipes that could adjust flow rates based on real-time demand, and sensors that could detect leaks immediately, treatment plants that could optimize their processes based on the composition of the water that's coming in.
It's like the whole water system becomes a living organism almost.
That's a great way to put it. And, it allows us to go beyond, just managing water to actually restoring it, enhancing it.
In what ways?
Well, think about optimizing wetland restoration projects, predicting and mitigating the effects of drought, or maybe even developing completely new water filtration technologies.
The possibilities are pretty vast,
Right.
but as we've talked about, I mean, responsible implementation is going to be really important here.
Absolutely. We have to make sure that we address potential biases in the algorithms, we ensure transparency, and really prioritize equitable access to these benefits.
Right. AI is a powerful tool, but it has to be used for good.
Exactly. It's about, using this technology to serve humanity and the planet.
Well said. I'm very optimistic about the future of AI in the water sector. I mean, there's so many brilliant minds working on these problems.
The pace of innovation is incredible.
It is. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive. I think our exploration here has really revealed the transformative potential of AI in water management.
From predictive maintenance to data-driven decision-making, it's really revolutionizing how we think about and manage this precious resource.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. I know, we've covered a lot of ground today, but this is just the beginning of the conversation. We encourage you to keep learning and keep exploring, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one developing those next generation AI-powered water systems. Until next time, stay curious.